At this point, what I had here on my chart was on a 5 minute, we had these lows over here. So stops were below these lows. All I was doing was waiting, exercising patience to see if price action is going to give it to me or price action is not going to give it to me. And then obviously we ended up closing at TP. What's good, guys? T.Mayne again. We're just going to reflect on the trades of the day in a young update there. Just basically, how was the day going? What trades did I look to get into? What did I manage to actually get into? And then we'll just basically see what were the results of the day, and we'll hopefully do these recaps every single day. So before we get started, let's start a vibe. So I came into this obviously considering that we are moving pretty much sideways. We've got a whole lot of corrective price action. We kind of started somewhere in and around these regions by these equal lows over there, but ever since we've been in this slight ascending structure, but nonetheless hella corrective. So I do understand that this is the high of my range, obviously this the low. And there's one of my alerts being triggered, and it is on the pair that we're talking about. So I do have some alerts over here. Obviously, I am still kind of watching what's going on here, but nonetheless, we'll speak about that. So coming into the 15 minute, what I did observe, and just to take you guys through the thoughts of the day, was basically I did see some momentum. Considering that I am at the low of the range, 15 minute, I am looking for those points of interest. So obviously, we were somewhere in and around or coming close towards this region over there. So I'll basically just discuss what my thoughts were on a lower time frame. But nonetheless, obviously where I wanted to trade was at the low of the range. So this was obviously where my extreme POI was. So let's just go down onto that 1 minute, follow some price action, and then I'll take you guys through what my thoughts were as this price action was developing. So coming into, where's this bar replay? There we go. So where did we start? Okay, there were these equal lows. Cool. So I guess price action started to become a little bit interesting from around this area over here. So basically what I had, let me just make sure that I know how to move this forward. Okay, cool, I do. So basically, what I had at this point in time was a nice set of equal lows. So this is kind of what I was looking at, obviously expecting price action to want to come down and violate these equal lows. Then obviously what I was going to generally look for is reversal structures below these supports. And then obviously if I don't find any, I'm looking for momentum and I'm looking for corrective price action into the level of structure for that upside continuation. Now, let's just delete all of that. Now basically, since we're kind of looking for our longing opportunities in this area over here, we already had our criteria. So obviously I waited for market to basically just play out. Once I had violated this low over here, I had kind of what I was expecting to see, which was basically momentum to the downside violating these lows. Now obviously what my plan was just wait for a nice break and a retest of price action for that upside continuation. And where I was looking to enter was at a source of momentum. So obviously looking at the current price action, I had to look and ask myself, where did this bullish momentum come from? And there is no origin of momentum. I don't see a nice bullish engulfing. Yes, I do see a big candlestick over here. Maybe I can assume momentum came in from over here, but I want to see a momentum shift in form of some sort of a bullish engulfing. So my conclusion thereafter was obviously that I don't have any sort of momentum shift. So what I can wait for is basically maybe for price action to come up, give me a new higher high, then obviously I can look for some sort of a higher low developing. So that was my thoughts at this point in time. So fast forward some price action after a whole lot of crap going on there. Basically, I'm now looking for a reversal structure inside of this area over there. So some sort of a double bottom structure. Once we break and close below here, obviously I cannot be looking for a double bottom anymore. There is no source of momentum over here, so I'm not looking for a double bottom of these lows either. So basically, long story short, my decision was to kind of not trade in this area anymore, to not look for any buys of this low over here. But what I was going to rather wait for was for another break of resistance. Let me see buyers being involved if we come up and maybe violate a new resistance or whatever the case is. And once we have that break of new resistance, then I can look for that higher low. So obviously with that then being in my thought processes, I'm sitting, exercising patience, waiting for a higher high to form, and obviously no higher high forms. So now that we obviously see price action coming down to violate these lower structures over there, what are my eyes doing? My eyes are looking at these as my new set of equal lows. This being the low, obviously look for reversal structures below. If I don't find any reversal structures, wait for the momentum to give me a nice retest of structure for that continuation to the upside. So that at this point is my current process or my current thought. So fast forward, obviously I'm waiting for price action to break and close above here, stay above here, and then obviously give me some corrective price action to the downside. Market chooses to absolutely not give me anything of what I'm looking for. So at this point in time, obviously my eyes are now focused at my point of interest that I've had over there. So now that I'm looking to trade at that point of interest, all I'm doing is exercising patience, waiting for the market to come into this POI. So anyway, market triggers my alert. We get into this POI over here. So obviously now what I'm waiting for some candlestick confirmation of this POI over here. Obviously, once we break below this POI, then it is no longer valid for me for entry. Next candlestick, obviously, we clearly break and even close below. So at this point, I cannot look to enter at this environment anymore. Obviously, market has come to my area fairly impulsively. What do I need to do? I need to wait for a reversal structure before I enter at this point in time. So clearly, Aussie CAD for me for the day was obviously making sure that I'm just attentive and just following what's going on. And obviously, she didn't want me to involve myself. So, otherwise, nonetheless, we do see some upside momentum. T.Mayne is not involved. And what he's waiting for at this point in time, we still have our extreme lows there. So, obviously, if we do still see price action maybe breaking, tapping into maybe giving us a young higher high, and then obviously we can still look for maybe a young inverse head and shoulders off this level of structure there. So that's kind of what T.Mayne is thinking at this point in time. But market obviously had other plans. We don't see market really giving us a new higher high. We come down and we smash these new lows over there. So at this point, obviously T.Mayne is a little bit thankful that he's exercising patience. And what do we have next? So fast forward to a little bit almost where we are right now, or let's even come to where we are right now. Basically, point being, Aussie CAD did not give us any entries. So basically, we just went through the thoughts of what or at least what I thought about as this price action was developing, how I continuously adjusted with the price action, basically still looking for what I was observing based off my 1 hour being my higher time frame, 15-minute being my middle time frame, and 1 minute being my entry time frame criteria. So still following my same process. Obviously, this pair unfortunately didn't give us any sort of a buy that we could have capitalized on. So fast forward to where we are right now. The only plan is, and this is probably going to develop and manifest tomorrow, because after 7 p.m. I don't execute any trades. So basically what we do see here is we have a new level of structure down low that we've broken below. Obviously there we've broken back above, and we obviously have these new higher structures over here. So all maybe at least what I'm expecting to see hopefully over the course of this evening, and hopefully we'll find it, catch it nice and ripe tomorrow, is we want to see price action breaking above, creating obviously a new higher high. And then obviously once we see a new higher high, we come down back to our smaller time frame, and we then draw new points of interest that sort of somewhat align with where we would like to be trading. And obviously we would like to be trading as low as we can trade. So what we can even do is just maybe even delete this one that we had previously. And then obviously once we see a new higher high, these two low POIs become valid for us to then look for any sort of corrective price action that maybe gives us a potential buy from any one of these two POIs for maybe a young inverse head and shoulder, formation of that right shoulder for upside continuation. So maybe that's for tomorrow, whatever the case is. Obviously we will go back and see how price action develops, but for this pair for today, she only gave me drama, no action. Let's go on to a pair that gave me absolutely stunning drama today. Aussie Swiss franc, guys. Aussie Swiss franc. So same process, or exactly the same thing goes for Aussie Swiss franc. So this was this is my high time frame bias, guys. So since we're not doing any long time analysis and we're not looking at anything for the future, let's just hide all of this because it's not relevant to us anymore. Hide that, hide this, and we hide this. Cool. So coming into this day, this trading day, obviously hourly is my highest time frame, 15-minute is my middle time frame, and 5 and 1 minute are my lower time frame, my entry criteria time frames. So coming into Aussie Swiss franc, basically we're in an ascending structure. We've got two resistance areas. Where are we by the time I look at this market? Obviously, I do see a young area of demand over here where basically market has come slightly tapped into basically from a 1 hourly perspective, and we're pushing away by the time I'm already looking at this market in the morning. So overall, that is what I had from a daily. Coming down to the 15-minute is we basically now start to see some structure. So on a 15-minute, I had this overall corrective structure over here, considering the fact that, okay, cool, we just tapped into an area of demand. We came into this area of demand very correctively, and now we're seeing bullish momentum. Where did I think I started to look at the market? When we were somewhere around here, I think we had just tapped into this demand area over here. So obviously at that point I couldn't trade that demand area there. So let's go down onto our entry time frame and discuss. We go through how did the price action develop and where did we basically find in on this market. So price had already tapped into that hourly sort of demand area over there. Now coming into this, I was already thinking that, okay, cool, maybe price action might want to come down and give me a tap a little bit lower, because we do have this previous level of support over there, and we've also got a nice area of demand right here where we can use as a beautiful POI for me to enter. So already I thought, okay, cool, maybe market is going to give us some sort of a break below this low to come and tap down into there, and then we'll be moving up from there. But otherwise we follow the price action as it develops. So more information that we have is we then see price action giving us what? Price action gave us a new higher high. So we finally see price action now starting to violate these resistance areas over there, giving us a new higher high. So obviously after we see this new higher high, let's just delete all of this crap before we move on. So obviously after we see price action giving us a new higher high, we then start to look for areas of demand. So the one area of demand that I did have on a 1 minute was this area here where I see a nice bullish engulfing over there. So I wanted to execute or enter the market as price action came into this POI over here. Overall, I still was thinking that maybe price action does want to come down and violate these lows over here. So I just, to be a bit safe, just thought, okay, cool, if market is gonna put a little bit of heat on me, maybe break below this low, below this area of demand, let me at least just put my low below the previous support, like just the previous support just before we broke resistance. That's probably the safest area, and my stops obviously were tight enough over there for my liking. So all we had to do is obviously exercise patience and wait to see if price action does come back into the POI. And then obviously we come into our POI and we give a nice push away, and we're into this. We basically at this point, I think we're in this trade. So basically we're just managing. So this was my initial entry, the only trade that basically got triggered for the day. Oh geez. So basically, I am still in this trade, and all obviously at this point I'm doing is managing. So what I was looking to do was, my first partial out was intended to be at this area here, at these resistance areas over here. That's kind of where I wanted to partial out first, and then I was going to partial out one more time at these resistance areas over there, and then I was going to leave the trade basically to run and obviously only trail using our stops. So obviously we're in this trade at this point in time. We just need to wait for price action to then give us some structure so that we can be able to trade. Obviously at this point we partial out a couple of our position. I think I partialed out 25% of my position, and then price action gives us some momentum. Yeah, this I was thinking of partially out, of closing the whole position at this, because I was watching this on a 1 minute time frame. So the drama, I think there's a nice big bearish engulfing over there, but thankfully the bearish engulfing was the close of this 5 minute candlestick over there. So it gave me an opportunity to partial out okay where I meant to partial out. And then obviously I had half of my position running at this point because I partial out 25. And then obviously at this point, what I had here on my chart was on a 5 minute, we had these lows over here. So stops were below these lows. All I was doing was waiting, exercising patience to see if price action is going to give it to me or price action is not going to give it to me. And then obviously we ended up closing at TP over there. So this was the only trade of mine that ended up that I was involved in today. And I guess it was an okay trade. So obviously at this point in time, I'm on my 15 minute observing that, okay, cool, we've just broken above these resistance areas there. We've just given ourselves a new higher high. So what I'm looking to do is I am obviously looking to enter at where I do see another origin of momentum. Now in this structure over here, obviously, if we just look at our extreme structures, just looking at the structure to the left, what we do see resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, and then support. So this was the last high that had formed basically just before price action had given us this momentum. So what I was looking at was obviously trading in a retest area, break of previous resistance as support. So I had basically just looked for a nice POI, nice origin of momentum there. And obviously on a 1 minute, we've got a nice big bullish engulfing in there. So at this point, obviously just exercising patience, waiting for the price action to develop. Let's just delete all of this crap over here just so that we can play this forward. So yeah, eventually market does come and tap into the POI, and I think I did set a limit order, so we were triggered into the position at this point in time. So obviously all we had to do was just wait and see. No, apologies guys, we were not triggered into this trade. We set the limit order afterwards. We didn't set the limit order there. Apologies, my memory is not serving me. I think there was another move to the downside. Yes, that's it. So at this point, this is only at the point where we had our POI once we had an origin of momentum. So we basically saw that this was obviously a retest area, and I was looking for a reversal structure because price action did come fairly impulsively. So obviously we had a support. Maybe we were going to form a double bottom, maybe we were going to do whatever, but price action gave us a new low. We then saw momentum coming into the market, giving us a nice bullish engulfing candlestick over there. So let's just delete this crap and then we'll play the market forward. Market then gave us a new high. So once we had an origin of momentum and market gave us a new high, obviously we had a left shoulder, a head, and obviously what we were looking for was that potential formation of that right shoulder. So at that point, obviously we set our limit order over there. So let's just delete all of this so that we can continue, and our alerts are just banging. Play the market forward. Obviously at that point I had set a limit order over there, so I'm waiting, exercising patience. Market comes close. I'm excited. Okay, cool, we have a new low. That means that there is some liquidity in this area just before price action could get to our new low. And then with price action being price action, guys, and obviously this at this point in time where I was looking to target, because I was looking to get in a little bit high, I was obviously, remember this overall corrective structure, we can terminate at the 90% rule. So the first time I was just looking to get in at a nice important POI and get out at the next high, or where the next momentum, where I see sellers coming into the market, I wanted to get out somewhere in around there. And obviously once we had, or if I had gotten into this position here, what I would have done is partialed out at these highs there, or managed my trade aggressively to some degree, managed maybe at somewhere around here, and then obviously held the trade until we hit TP over there. So already that was my thought processes of kind of how I'm looking to get into this trade. But coming into the actual price action, price didn't come back, guys. Sadly, price didn't come back. So looking at the thing, price action actually gave a new high over there. So at this point in time, maybe I could have readjusted or did whatever, but I was still seeing, I'm not seeing this maybe as a liquidity grab. I'm still expecting, cool, maybe we've got two lows, we can come down, give a third touch, whatever the case is, because I don't know how price action is going to give me, what it's going to give me. But basically I try and be as prepared as I can, try and read the price action as we play through. Market just decides that, oh crap, we gone. with or without you, this would have been my partial out area over there. Obviously, without me in this case here, and this would have been such a nice trade, guys. But yes, market ended up not triggering us into the trade, and she just kept on running, kept on running. But obviously, at this point in time, we're at resistance. The trade has already left us. We're not looking to chase the market. We're looking for probabilities. Trades that come with probabilities, not looking to involve ourselves in just anything that develops in the market. So otherwise, yeah, I think yeah, at this point in time, I'm not looking to do anything. I think I was getting ready to trade US 30 at this point. So otherwise, yes, we do hit TP, and that was kind of the overall trade, or at least my overall thoughts and my processes. So for the day, today's Monday, first day, we're getting our minds prepared for the trading week. For today, I guess the day looks like a nice up day for me. I had two orders for the day. One got triggered, managed beautifully, hit TP, all that nice good stuff. I'm happy. I think I got just under, I think I got like, I think it was two point something, 2.9 or 2 point something percent. I think the overall trade was 1:4. Yeah, 1:4.2. But because I did partial out and partial out, I think I only managed to get 2.9 or 2 point, yeah, 2.9 something percent from this position, or at least 2.9 R from this position over there. So at least for the Monday, we are up 2 point. I'm gonna confirm with the numbers. Maybe when I'm editing this, we'll slap it on there somewhere. But yeah, this was our Monday. Maybe let's try and be consistent with this. Let's try and do it every day. Recap, see how the week goes, and then yeah. Cheers, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Do like the video if you enjoyed the content. If you want to see more of this, subscribe if you're not subscribed, guys. Cheers for the last time.